All right, SNL. We're less than a week away from free agency. Vet or Rook? Which route could the Texans go? Now, right now, they only got 6 picks. So you're going to have to go vet in some ways when it comes to fixing this roster. Big name on the market. We'll get to that in a second. Cody Stoots. We'll start with that guy, Davante Adams. He has been released immediately as soon as this happens, especially given the fact that wide receiver is a big need. The question emerges: should the Texans look at Davante Adams?
Yeah, I mean, they should absolutely do their due diligence on him. Call him. He's the best wide receiver available in free agency. You don't have to wait till Monday to sign him. You could sign him right now if you felt like you could get a deal done with him and the contract was right. Obviously, the Texans got to, make some contract space and stuff like that. Like, they should absolutely check in on him. There's just 2 problems with the Houston Texans and Davante Adams. They don't have Aaron Rodgers, and they're not on the West Coast. So they're really not an option for Davante Adams. It feels like that's the only 2 things he wants, is to either play with Aaron Rodgers. Well, Aaron Rodgers doesn't have a team, and it probably isn't going to have a team anytime soon. And then the Texans aren't on the West Coast. That's reportedly where Davante Adams wants to play. So, from a win football, play with good QB, make money standpoint, the Texans fit a lot of different things. But play with my friend, play on the West Coast, the Texans don't fit those 2 things.
Do you think the friend thing's still a thing? Like, is that, it kind of made fools of themselves last year with the Jets. I know they can blame it on other things, but that was supposed to be like some sort of magical splash. They did have their way with the Texans, but I don't know that the Aaron Rodgers thing is as much alive as it was. I kind of think they had their little hoorah and it was kind of meh.
Well, the report is if Stafford had gone to the Giants, Rodgers and Adams were going to the Rams. So, they were gonna team. Now that obviously checks both boxes for him. But if Rodgers is the quarterback of the New York Giants, isn't he at least going to call Davante and say, "Hey, you don't have to move. We play in the same building. Come on down."
Yeah, I think the Adams thing. You don't always get what you want. Like we go through the teams on the West Coast and whether or not they want him. The Aaron Rodgers situation, is that still a thing? Don't know. But from a strictly football perspective, it's obviously it's a better option than Stefon Diggs, and it's like you said, it's the best guy on the market. So I do think the Texans are going to be trying to figure some stuff out in that area. But yeah, there's a lot of smoke as to where the hell is Davante Adams going to go. Like, what West Coast teams do you think we're even talking about?
I guess the Chargers, the Rams, the Seahawks.
Yeah, I could see the Chargers. I could see the Chargers.
If the Chargers don't go, so the problem is like, I don't know that he's a plan A for any of these West Coast teams. Like, if the Chargers don't get a wide receiver they like in the first 2 rounds, yeah, I'm sure they'd love to have Davante Adams. But is Davante Adams waiting until after the draft to sign? No. Like the Rams, they got to move Cooper Kupp. Then they're going to reinvest some of that money in a 32-year-old wide receiver. Like, I don't know about that. Like,
that makes sense.
The Cardinals would be perfect, but that's not a coast. But is it far enough west for him?
And Seattle would have to get rid of. They would have to move on from one of their guys. You would think, which
move on from Lockett, and then like, is that a pressing need for Seattle? They've got Jackson Smith and Jigba. They've got DK Metcalf.
Yeah, he's already kind of. I don't think he doesn't come across as like the guy that wants to be the clear number 2 or 3.
Yeah, so like the Cardinals would make sense if that's far enough west for him, and then get the city of Galveston to get a PowerPoint presentation together. Be like, Galveston's nice, not quite LA. Let's see what you think, Davante.
I don't think it's a beach thing, is it? I think it's just a familiarity thing, right?
Yeah, with the Fresno State and
yeah. Yeah, he kind of in the receiver show on Netflix. He kind of he was kind of a little whiny to me.
He feels like a baby.
Yeah, and
the way that he treated the Packers on the way out the door, like they were willing to pay him every dollar, and then he wanted to go play with Carr in Vegas, and he didn't like Vegas, so he forced his way to the Jets with his buddy Aaron Rodgers. Like, he does feel like kind of a baby.
Yeah, and he's also a big liar. Let's be honest. I'm kind of offended by some of the lies he tells, quite honestly. So I don't even. I don't even want to I really don't want to get into it because it's kind of a sensitive subject, but some of the lies that he tells just kind of rub me the wrong way.
I'm unfamiliar with his fibbing. Can you fill me in?
He ain't eating Taco Bell, bro. He ain't about that life. So if you're not about that life, don't sit there and act like you're eating Taco Bell.
You think
I forgave Brady for the Subway. Davante ain't eating Taco Bell, so it's kind of offensive to me as someone who's a big Taco Bell fan.
You think he just took the money, huh?
I just think he took the money. I don't think he knows what a Nacho Supreme, Nacho Bel Grande is. I don't think he really knows about it.
Well, I mean, what if he was a late to Taco Bell, like late in his life discovery guy? Like I get with you, like he didn't grow up with it, but what if he was a late arriver? Like, man, this stuff's pretty good.
Don't believe him.
I mean, I can understand that. He's to me, he's clearly the number one free agent wide receiver option. So, if he can get over the fact that he's not going to get to play with one of his friends at quarterback and he's maybe not going to be on the West Coast, then he should have a good amount of suitors for his services. I did read today that, this is before Davante Adams is released, but Matthew Berry, I know he's the fantasy football guy, but people in the NFL talk to him.
He knows a lot, dude.
He does this big rumor column, and he said that
it's probably the best. It's the best column post combine for a long time running.
But his biggest win ever is Brady's going to be on the Bucs, and he nailed it. That was the big rumor, and then he was the one that he's the only one that kind of went with the rumor. But the one he had that was Texans related when it came to their free agents was he expects there to be a robust Stefon Diggs market, and I was like, what? So he's like, yeah, the Texans, they'd be interested maybe, but they're not going to trip over themselves to try to keep Stefon Diggs. And he thinks there's going to be quite a few teams trying to.
What is robust?
Like people not worried about the injury, multi-year deals, and way more money than you think.
So getting back basically the money he gave up and getting it guaranteed, like 240 or something like that.
I do not believe Stefon Diggs will be signing a prove-it deal.
Or Matthew Berry doesn't believe it. And you believe Matthew Berry?
Based off of the way Matthew Berry talked about it,
okay.
Based off of the free agency class, just putting all of it together and just the Stefon Diggs, it's his first major knee injury. He can also sell it as, it's my first major. It's not like I have some degenerative knee issue. I'm going to bounce back. It was just an ACL, yada, yada, yada. Would you rather have me coming off an ACL or this guy that's not very good? Because Chris Godwin is the other big name, and it looks like the Bucs are going to try to keep him. It feels like everything out of Tampa is they're going to do everything they can to keep Godwin. So it's Davante Adams and it's Stefon Diggs. And so if you miss on one, you probably talk to the other. And for Diggs, he's got to want more than 1 year. He's got to because his 2025 is going to be affected by the knee.
No, he's thinking about how he effed his money up. That's in the back of his mind. We know the Diggs thing. I just think the shelf life's gone on the Diggs thing. There's not an option you can present to me that I don't like more than Stefon Diggs at this point. But I don't think there's going to be a big bidding war for Stefon Diggs. I just find that really hard to believe.
I do, based on the free agents and just how many teams need wide receivers. And I like this wide receiver draft class. It doesn't feel anywhere near as important and impressive as it did a year ago. So
now maybe Dallas or something like that. Maybe Dallas will give him a 2-year deal.
I'm sure he'd love to go to Dallas.
His brother's there.
I'm sure he'd love to go to Dallas.
Yeah, and I mean it's a big brand and all that. So maybe Dallas. Who knows? We'll see. We'll see how it goes. Kyle on the chat says, "How dare Davante take Taco Bell money? Sign me up. I effing hate Taco John's, but I do the commercial, no question. Good for you, man. That's just disgusting to me. There is some to besmirch and pose as a Taco Bell fan and not be a Taco Bell fan. It's offensive.
I do want some authenticity out of my athletes and their advertising partners.
It's not good, man.
I'm not buying that Gronk even has a total, has even a minute bit of understanding of exactly what USAA is. He's got no idea.
Oh, he knows.
He's just there to be comedic relief.
He knows, and he's perfect. He's the perfect spokesperson for them. He does a good job of that. He knows.
Yeah, but he can't get USAA.
I know. I've heard. I know that for a fact now.
So I don't buy that.
Something else before we get to Vet or Rook, and Cody's foaming out the mouth to get to the left guard. Like it was a big topic of discussion. Do we start with Davante or do we start with the left guard?
It really wasn't. It was some stupid joke Landry was trying to bring up in the chat.
To the left guard. We'll get to the left guard, and we will handle that. But first, there's some whispers.
One thing. Hold on. One thing. Shaq invests in all the companies he does advertising with, so he has a vested interest in getting him new customers.
I've called Shaq out when we interviewed him for lying on some of his stuff.
You're saying that he doesn't invest in the companies?
No, he tried to tell me he has to pay for his own icy hot, and I was like, no,
"Yeah, right. Yeah, right."
He's like, "Oh, I always pay for it." I was like, "No, you don't, and it's customized." He's like, "Oh," I'm like, "Dude, come on, like really?" But yeah, Shaq.
That's it. I'm never getting icy hot again. I'm going to move to Tiger Balm now.
Icy hot is undefeated. If you need it. Speaking of Shaq, is Shaq back in 2025? That's kind of the question we've been asking. I got a video dropping at 6 about the Shaq Mason possibility. Jonathan Alexander, he put out a piece. It was an opinion. I think it's always funny. I think journalism lessons are really valuable these days, like the ways to read news. I think it's the most valuable resource. I think it should be like it should be a required skill, because there's some people saying, well, Jonathan Alexander's reporting. No, he's just using his information, and he's saying that he believes Shaq Mason will be back and they won't move on from him. But then he's saying they might move on from him. So there's kind of like some back and forth there. But he's basically saying that he thinks Shaq Mason will be at Texans camp. Do you think that would be a good idea?
No. But I don't believe that Shaq Mason's issues are centered around Bobby Slowick wasn't good at his job and Chris Strausser wasn't good at his job. I believe Shaq Mason's issues were centered around Shaq Mason's not good at his job. That's what I believe. So I would move on from Shaq Mason. I'd get a new starting right guard, and I primarily would, lean towards a veteran. But like, what's the point of having him in camp? You didn't even have real competitions last year. Like, all of a sudden it's going to be a free for all in the competitions. Like, and there's going to be some young guy come in and beat him out. Like, if there's a young guy that has a chance to start at right guard, you should give him all the opportunities to lean into the new offense. Like, you shouldn't have him trying to beat out Shaq Mason.
Yeah, I think at this price, it's a disgrace. Like, at this price, I mean, maybe they want to try to bring him back. Honestly, I would rather adjust Shaq's salary and say bye-bye to Titus Howard. If you gave me a choice, I would rather say bye to Shaq than Titus. That's just me. But it would be surprising, but I mean, I can see where it may happen.
Hold on, you just said two different things there. Say it again. You'd rather keep Shaq on a lower salary and get rid of Titus?
If I had to choose between Shaq and Titus, I would choose Shaq.
Okay.
Yes. Okay. Do you disagree?
I would choose Titus. I feel like he has more use at guard than Shaq does right now.
Okay. All right. Yuck. I Must Pandaline brings up an interesting point. She says if he can't beat out Shaq Mason, he shouldn't have a job anyway. So I take that.
Yeah, if you draft a guy in the first round or second round, he can't beat Shaq Mason out, you blew it.
Jamarcus says I hate Titus. I don't have anything. I don't think he's a valuable piece to have as one of the highest paid tackles playing guard. There's nothing to hate. If he were really, really good, I would say you keep him. I don't think he's really, really good. So yeah.
If both of them are on the team, neither one should be playing at the contract figure that they have coming up.
Yeah. So I would choose that. Corey says that Titus wants the ball. Yeah. That was a toughie.
And then he wouldn't go on the record and say what happened, but he'd go off the record with Aaron Wilson and let Aaron report it.
Yeah, he was trying to hold CJ up by ripping the ball and doing exactly what we've seen before. So yeah. There you go. Two pieces of information localized. Davante Adams. It would be nice, but it doesn't seem realistic based on the other factors. And then the Shaq Mason thing, I would rather bring back Shaq at a lower price and say bye-bye to Titus if you made me choose between the two. That would just be me.
I just don't know how. I mean, there's no way this offense just turns them both into like amazing football players. Like,
no, but we have seen, and that would kind of be my other argument would be, before last year we saw Shaq Mason play pretty good, like in multiple places, in multiple systems, including at least a percentage of the hybrid that Nick Caley's going to bring to Houston. And Nick Caley does have familiarity with Shaq Mason. I don't think that's the case with Titus Howard. I never thought he was as good of a tackle as they did. That's obviously been proven right. And I don't know that he's much of a better guard than Shaq Mason is at this point. The Shaq Mason we saw last year was insane.
It's the worst football of his career.
Yeah, I mean, he was the worst player on the line. Like and I don't even know that it was really close, and it was one of the worst offensive lines in the league. Like, he was terrible. But I mean, and I'll get more into this at 6 when I drop the video. But I mean, if you do want to lay out potential excuses and you want to buy those excuses, then that would be the reason why they would decide to bring back Shaq.
I'd love to get rid of both of them, have 2 new guards, but
yeah, that'd be great.
I don't know that's possible.
You got limited money and you have other needs, so
it's like if I go and spend on 2 free agent guards or a free agent guard and a rookie, like how good is my line going to be in the first year with 2 new guards? They showed us continuity doesn't matter because they started Shaq off of a month of being hurt. So I guess I'm worried about continuity too much.
D'Amico loves him. Caserio appears to love him, and I think Nick Caley might love him. So this kind of adds to it. Jonathan Alexander believes he will be here. So
well, then both these guards got to have guys breathing down their necks in training camp. If they're keeping both of them, they gotta have guys behind them that can push them and potentially get them off the team in training camp. Like, we need to be having a real discussion about, the rookie or the veteran that came over from wherever is pushing Howard, pushing Mason. So they got to have guys to push them.
Really, Jesse?
Now, you don't know that it's snacks. It could just be over
Mason. Come on.
It could
what
just
are we doing?
It could just be overeating it at every meal.
Snacks Mason. Like, what? Jesse, come on, man. Poor girl. All right, so let's play this vet or rook game. The exercise is such here on SNL. Andrew Locker, Cody Stoots with you. The exercise is real simple. Would you rather address this need, the veteran route, free agency, which begins in less than a week, or the draft, which is little less than 2 months away? Now, we're going to start with the wide receiver. I know you're ready to get to the left guard. We'll get there eventually, Stoots, but let's start.
You keep saying left guard. Like I've talked about it from the beginning that Titus is going to be the starting left guard. So it's the right guard. If you're going to try to make a joke, at least make the joke make sense.
We'll get to the offensive guards. We'll get to the offensive guards. We'll get there in a second.
You're an idiot.
But let's start with the wide receiver, vet or rook. Which route we going?
My preference, if you only get, in this exercise, you only get one, is rook, but you need both. You need both. You need veterans and rookies. Like there's a roster availability from a number standpoint. Like, you don't have a number 2, you don't have a number 3, 4 and 5 and 6 aren't solidified. So you could, in theory, say both. The veteran option that I like more than anybody is Cooper Kupp. I like him more than the 25th overall pick on a wide receiver. I like Kupp more than any of the free agents that are out there right now from like actually getting him cost to get him. So I guess if I had to go lean one, I lean vet, and I lean specifically Cooper Kupp. But if it's not Kupp, then I want to switch back to rookie.
It's going to be both. Like it's going to be both, but I'm going to go vet here. Whether it's Cooper Kupp, whether it's Christian Kirk, whether it's someone else that we're not talking about right now. Yeah. Tyler Lockett, whatever, it's there. And in a perfect world, like if this were the the wide receiver drafts that we've been used to the last few years, and that this might change. I think it's just based on the layout of the draft. Like if you told me right now that I can find Brian Thomas Jr. or I can find Brandon Ayuk in the 20s, or I can find Justin Jefferson in the 20s. Now, these are extreme examples. These are guys that have gone in the 20s of round one. Then sure, we can figure this out. But I don't believe that that's how this draft is laid out. So I would say vet.
Would you take Golden?
But I think they're going to do both.
From Texas, Matthew Golden. Would you
No.
prefer him?
No, he's a Coug. He's more. I'm not calling him a Longhorn. He's a Coug.
Okay. Pretty weird way to approach that, but all right.
He's a Coug, and Bond's a Crimson Tide. So that's how I'm approaching this from now on. I'm not giving Sark credit for that.
Feels like they're getting the Sark red mark. Scarlet Sark.
Yes, he's a Coug. Nah, I'm not as much of a Golden guy as everyone else. I don't think he's going to be there though.
My favorite thing coming out of Matthew Golden running really fast at the combine is all the film people being like, he doesn't play that fast, by the way. It's like, okay.
He doesn't play slow. Like it's not, they're not like throwing go routes to him. It seems like whenever he catches it, he had good separation. Like, I don't know what they mean by that. Like he's not, they're not like just throwing him go routes, but he's running real routes doing work. Like, I think he's fine. Just 25, I just thought was a little bit rich for him. I think he could end up being a good player.
Yeah.
Abuka, I mean, maybe Abuka's there and you like Abuka. The comparison I keep seeing, and maybe it's because I read the same stuff. You keep saying Amon-Ra St. Brown, and I'm like, okay. I mean, if that's the case, then
sign me up.
Taking number 3 overall. Like, I mean, if that's what you're getting, but that's the comparison that they get. I just think the vet option is the sure thing right now. But I think the answer to this is going to be both.
When you have full control over the vet option. If you need to pay the money, you pay the money. If you need to trade for the guy, you trade for the guy. You don't have full control over the draft.
Mm-hmm. We shall see. Vet or Rook running back?
I mean, I gotta have a rookie running back behind Joe Mixon. There is not a vet that would satisfy me like one of these rookies would. So I got to have a rookie. I don't care if it's Marion Hampton in the first. I don't care if it's Judkins or Henderson in the second. Like, I got to have a rookie behind.
Does Smith count?
Does what?
Does Rashard Smith count as a running back?
Yes.
Because he kind of seems like, I mean, I don't know that he's like your backup. He kind of seems like a guy that is, I guess, lack of a better term, like hybrid type.
He's like more offensive weapon than.
Yeah, I would
take
him and a back, but I'm going Rook here. I feel like they might be kind of in no man's land. A trade back would be ideal for me, where if they are able to trade back from 25 and get in kind of that gold mine of running backs, that would be cool. And I'm still taking one on day 3 too, whether it's Blue or Smith or something like that to kind of be like the hybrid weapon, offensive weapon. I'm stacking up there. But yeah, I'm going Rook here all day.
Yeah. It's just, I look at these veterans and the guys who are good enough that you'd want them aren't going to be backups to Joe Mixon. And everybody else kind of is like not very good. So there you have it with the free agent running backs. I mean, like, you want Raheem Mostert? No thanks.
Rob Dog says Landry has a deal with the NFL now. He dripped out head to toe. Yeah, I'm protecting the shield, baby. Protect the shield.
Landry Goodell over here.
Hashtag sports. Hashtag sports.
Who was the actor that wore the NFL hat?
Rob Lowe. I was
Lowe.
doing it before him, man. He just got the good bit. He got the shine, the deserved shine.
That's an old school NFL hat because it's got the Reebok logo on the side.
Yes, sir. Can't get that nowhere. That ain't no middle of the mall.
Where'd you get that hat?
The hat I got a long time ago. Wish I would have got every color.
It's very disappointing that you don't remember where you got the hat from.
Oh yeah, you gave me the hat, right?
I saw it over on Harwin at the hat store. And I was like, "Do you want this?" And you were like, "Yes, send it to me."
Oh man, damn, you did give. Damn, I feel like a jerk now. It's a hell of a gift. It's lasted a long time.
It's only the second time I've told that story on this show.
Well, till third.
One day you'll remember.
Till the third, though. This will cheer you up, though, because you've been waiting for this all day. God, he wanted to start with this.
Shut up.
He wanted to start with this.
Shut up.
And we got to it. This was what he wanted to lead and maybe get to Davante Adams. So I will sit back and I will let Cody Stoots do work here. Vet or Rook, the offensive guard.
I want a veteran. I want somebody who's played football, had success at multiple teams if they're a little bit of an older player. And it feels to me like you need a veteran at right guard specifically, because in my world, Blake Fisher's going to be the right tackle. That's a second-year player. And either Scruggs or Patterson's going to be the center. That's a third-year player. And having a veteran who's played football and had success there at right guard, I feel like would be a stabilizing force for this offensive line. And then you've only got, you got some question marks at center, you got some question marks at left guard, but I'd like a veteran presence at right guard for this team. Like, go get a veteran who's played football and had success at right guard.
Like what they did with Shaq Mason 2 years ago?
Very clearly, somebody who's not played too much football.
Do we have any names?
So, the big expensive name out there was Trey Smith. He got the franchise tag officially, so he's off the market. The next one is Will Freeze, or Freeze, whatever. He's going to be super expensive because now he's the top guard option. He was bad until this year, and then he played really well, and then he got hurt. So it's like, okay, well, don't love that for him. But there's a number of veterans who I feel like have not played too much football that you could go find. Kevin Zeitler, who's just a mercenary at this point. He was the right guard for the Lions this past year, 3 years with Baltimore before that. Yeah, he's old, but he's still really good. He played really good football last year and played a ton of snaps last year. Brandon Sheriff from Jacksonville. He was a fine football player last year. He's not going to be near as expensive as he was last year for the Jaguars. So that'd be a name. Like, those would be the two guys, like if you're going with like not top of the market, but like one tier below top of the market. Those would be the two names. I'd be interested in the Kappa guy that the Bengals just got rid of. They got rid of him from a salary cap standpoint, not because he sucks. So there's options. There's veterans that have played football, and not too much football, that you can go out there and go get.
Okay. Anything else with the guards?
Well, you want to weigh in on this? You want to stop being a jerk about this and weigh in on this?
I'm not being a jerk. I
just don't feel comfortable handing the right guard job to a rookie. Like, I understand that they may feel like that's something they're capable of doing, but unless I know exactly what they're running, like if they're running a Shanahan offshoot, Tyler Booker's not good enough. Like, he's not athletic enough to do what they want to do. So, and then Graves Abel, yeah, you beat up a bunch of guys at the Senior Bowl. Those are rookies. Like, it's not DeForest Buckner. So, like, I'm not comfortable handing the right guard spot to a rookie.
I don't have like a strong take on either one of these. I don't want to take a guard in the first 2 rounds. I just doesn't do it for me, man. So I'll go vet. I don't have like a specific name. I don't pretend to be an O-line expert, quite frankly. I figured Kenyon Green would be your left guard for the next 10 years. So I don't trust them when it comes to offensive line evaluation. And I don't want to draft a guard with one of the premium picks. So I'll go vet there. Josh Stanley on the super chat says Kappa won the Triple Crown.
I don't know what that means.
Yeah, I have no idea either.
Is there like a horse named Kappa?
Don't know.
I don't keep up with horse racing either.
Way over my head. Andy L says, is there anyone that would change your mind at running back if they surprisingly drop down to draft? Look, I'll take a running back in the first round all day. You don't have to threaten me with a good time. I would take Genty. I would take Hampton. And if they liked Henderson enough to do it, and you could kind of see that they thought he was going to be their Gibbs type and their long-term mix and replacement, I'll take that. You don't have to threaten me with a good time with the running back. I'm the most pro running back person here. Positional value these nuts when it comes to running back. So don't worry about me. I'm good with the running back. I'm fine with that. Sign me up.
And they'll get tackled in the backfield because you don't care about guard.
I care about guard fine. I just don't think it's a bigger story than Davante Adams, but that's just
nobody did, dumbass.
Vet or Rook? Defensive tackle. Where are we going here? We going vet or are we going Rook?
I mean, as far as like focusing on I like a rookie here. I feel like DeMeco Ryans getting his hands on a young, impressive defensive tackle, molding him exactly the way that guy needs to be molded at the NFL level. Like I'd be very excited about DeMeco Ryans getting a rookie defensive tackle and then filling it out with vets, after you make that investment in the rookie defensive tackle. So that's, Kenneth Grant in the first round from Michigan, or a number of guys up and down the draft board at defensive tackle. It's the deepest defensive tackle draft in years. It's, we say about the running backs. It's Baskin Robbins. There's a different type. The defensive tackle is CC's. Whatever kind of pizza you'd want, the big fellas are out there. You can go get
like a first rounder or second rounder or what?
There will be a defensive tackle worth taking every time they're on the clock.
I saw Alfred Collins mocked in the first round today.
That's a little rich.
Yeah, that seemed a little bit wild. But yeah, like I could see Alfred Collins day two. DeMeco liking him. I could see something like that, like an Alfred Collins or who knows.
I mean, it just depends kind of like what you want out of, like, what do you want out of the defensive tackle? There's no, like, the only like complete guy that does everything is supposed to be Mason Graham from Michigan. Everybody else has like a little bit of like, they lean more pass rush versus run stop. But there's a worthwhile guy every time they come up to pick that I feel like that's how deep this defensive tackle situation is.
People mentioning Rankins in the chat, that everyone seems to feel like that's a done deal. I saw Alexander mentioned it. I've heard other people talking about it. Like it seems like it's one of the worst kept. Yeah, it seems like one of the worst kept secrets that Sheldon Rankins wants to be here, and DeMeco Ryans liked Sheldon Rankins a lot.
Sure, you still need more players. Like Sheldon Rankins and Tim Settle ain't going to get it done.
By the way, I didn't really look into his injury last year. Was it like a virus or something like that?
Yeah, he had a virus.
Yeah, because like you see him miss 7 games, and you go with the injury history, and there's people who are saying, well, he already missed time, but it wasn't like a body thing. It was he got a virus.
Correct. I can tell you the virus. Hold on. He had meningitis.
Meningitis?
Yeah, he had meningitis.
How do you get meningitis?
I don't know. I'm not a doctor.
I mean, you got the internet in front of you, so you can play a doctor. Just give me the facts on meningitis.
Let's see here. It's an infection and swelling around the brain and spinal cord.
Oh, God. Brain and spinal cord?
Viral infections are the most common cause of meningitis in the United States.
So he had like ringworm?
Like a staph infection, maybe?
Didn't you like Sheldon Rankins a lot?
He was solid.
Didn't you like the way that he like described the game?
No.
You didn't?
Are you remembering something that I don't remember?
No. Don't know.
Are you trying to give Sheldon Rankins credit or something?
No, there's no joke.
Come on, Chappelle. What's the punchline?
Everything's not a joke, man. I know you like to always joke around. I just like to be serious and do a good football show.
I know they liked him because they almost paid him $13.5 million last year.
Yeah. But didn't he have like a speech to the team or something like that before the game? Like, wasn't he one of those like rally the team together, like speech guys?
I'm unaware of that or not.
I think so. I think he had like a talk with the team I think we interviewed him on the radio or something, and he was talking about like how he just talked about the opportunity and all that type of stuff. So
Will Anderson talks about him like he's like his defensive line sensei.
I think this is a good question from Chase. Why is Stoots so on edge today? What's wrong with you? Should we have started with the guard? Like, why are you so mad?
You're looking at the reason I'm on edge. 99% of the time I'm on edge because of Landry Dell over here.
Should we have started with the guard? Did we make a mistake?
I think you should have dropped this because it's not funny 25 minutes ago.
All right.
You're like Larry the Cable Guy coming through town still telling get her done jokes. No, ain't nobody laughed about it in 20 minutes, bud.
Is Larry the Cable Guy still alive?
He is. He is still alive. I don't think he's doing much these days.
Were get her done jokes ever funny? I've never seen a get her done joke. I heard the line. I didn't know he had like a get her done joke. Never saw that.
I mean, it's not like I found them hilarious, but the guy had a national tour, made $1 gazillion doing them. So,
okay.
I don't think the "Here's Your Sign" from Bill Engvall was funny, but he made a lot of money doing it. And
don't know who that is either.
You might be a redneck from Jeff Foxworthy.
I remember that.
Those were that funny, and those guys made a boatload of cash, man.
Remember that? Okay. Vet or Rook, cornerback depth. We going vet or Rook? Got to go vet. You got to go vet here. I mean, unless you want to go later in the draft, cornerback depth. I could see them doing both here. I think this is another both, like a lower scale both. But vet, I think you need a proven vet that is capable of stepping in, not a tire kick. You need a solid football player, not this failed.
CJ Henderson.
Hey, CJ Henderson, Jeff Okudah come through. Just give me a solid football player that can be a depth cornerback.
Yeah, I don't know where the money ran out last year, but Jeff Okudah wasn't it, and neither was CJ Henderson, and then they put Okudah on the field for like 6 snaps once he got healthy. It was not good.
It was bad.
It's not good. Cavante Turpin's still running.
So we're going vet, Rook.
If you found you probably need to go vet just from a trust standpoint.
Remember, they have 6 picks.
I'm just trying to think what could be available. Like there should be some corners available in day 3 that, but that's kind of a risky thing to make that guy cornerback 3. Yeah, I'll go vet.
Yeah, I think they'll have both.
Well, it's not like they got a lot of money either. I mean, we're talking about vet or like it's not like they got a lot of money.
Yeah, it's not the best.
I mean, they paid Okudah $5 million last year.
Vet or Rook, safety depth.
Vet. But if this turned into a starting position, then the conversation changes.
If Imamura is available, then all bets are off. Take care of that. But I could see them going Rook. It's a deepish safety draft. I could see them going round 3 safety. They did it last year, and it worked out pretty good. There's a lot of intriguing options at safety, and if you can get one of those, solid.
The safety depth conversation is a very different conversation than some of the other ones because the guy's basically guaranteed to play if Jimmy Ward's the starter.
Yes.
So it's like you need a little bit of talent, but you also need to think about the future. And so like a 1-year vet, like you're just going to go back and try to find another guy again. Whereas like if you drafted Nick Minowari, he's starting. I mean, from South Carolina, he's a freak. But if you kept Jimmy Ward and in the 2nd round they drafted Xavier Watts from Notre Dame, like Watts is going to play because Jimmy Ward's not going to play 17 games.
Yeah, Watts, Starks. You could
Starks from Georgia.
Yeah, Malachi Starks. You could throw a few guys out there. I think Starks falls today too.
We talked to the Penn State kids.
Yeah, I like them.
Kevin Winston Jr. and
Hill. Yeah, Hill likes the Texans. So he's another option too. I could see them getting a safety in the 3rd, 4th round, around that range.
You know more about the Texas players than I do. Where's Andrew Makuba going to go?
He's really good, man. He's a Clemson guy though.
Right.
Yeah. He's more Clemson than Texas, just like Golden with the Cougs. So yeah, he's solid, man. He can do a lot of things. I think he's round 3, round 4 type of dude. Ran a good 40. Knocks the living crap out of people.
Jonas Sanker from Virginia had a really good combine workout, and then Billy Bowman from Oklahoma.
I don't think he compliments. I don't think he compliments Bullock as good as the previously mentioned, though.
Oh yeah, no, I mean,
yeah,
but we're not, we're kind of traversing the whole gambit here of safeties.
Yeah, I think the ones that we mentioned before compliment him better than that, but I think that D'Amico will. I think D'Amico will get a safety for sure.
Trying to see if there's a worthwhile free agent safety. It's not great.
No, it's not. It's Eric Murray type. Like you find another Eric Murray type.
Somebody's going to contract projection on Javon Holland, $15 million. Good luck with that. Trevor Mooring from the Raiders, $15 million. Good luck with that. Yeah, no, thank you on all of that.
Yeah, I could see D'Amico really liking Makuba though.
I mean, there's a lot. I mean, I trust them. If they want to spend that first pick on day 3 on a safety, I trust them.
I think they're drafting a safety. I do. I really do. I don't think Starks would be a steal at 25. I think that would be. I think even Warrior would be a steal. I don't think Starks would be a steal at 25.
Yeah, not a lot of folks are not as high on him as they were a year ago.
No, they're not. And the way that he is the someone who covers Georgia, and every effing beat reporter that covers Georgia was at the NFL Combine. My God. They basically said he's the anti-Kamari Lassiter when it comes to shutting it down and going all in. That does not sound very Houston Texan-y to me.
He's undraftable for the Texans then. If you're the opposite of Kamari, you can't be drafted.
No, he's their favorite. I mean, he's their favorite kid, man. Like he's like if they had to power rank their favorite kids, Will Anderson's number 1, 100%. Like there's no question. And then Daria Gumbawale is in the top 5 conversation for some reason. He's in the top 2. Lassiter's up there.
Aziz.
Oh God, Aziz is there. That's 4. No particular order. And then number 5 would be. It could be Joe Mixon. Because they like his fire, but I'm trying to think like more like lunch pail. It could be like Neville Hewitt or something like that.
Yeah, I don't know. That 5th one's tough.
Someone says Jimmy. I don't know. I think Jimmy is a little bit of a pain. Like Jimmy's like they like him, but he's enough of like.
Is it Bullock? Is he already there?
Man, I don't know. I don't even feel like Bullock tries to get him. They love him. But so who do we have? We have top 5 favorite kids for the Texans.
Will Anderson,
Kamari,
Dare, Aziz, Stover.
No. He doesn't play good enough yet.
Nico's
up there. It might be Tank.
I mean, they treat Damian Pierce like he's freaking Earl Campbell. So
yeah, Damian's up there too. Tank's up there. Yeah, I would. That you could go a number of ways there.
Yeah, it's a number of different number 5.
That's
options.
The top 4 though, for sure. CJ's up there too.
Yeah, for sure.
But that's just too easy to say. Maybe Case. But he might be there. They might be his kids.
Davis.
Be honest about it. But yeah, we'll see. We'll see how this whole thing goes. It's interesting. Josh brings up an interesting question. Why do you call him Neville? It's Neville.
I mean, I just say Neville.
I just say Neville Hewitt. I don't know.
You definitely don't say. You definitely don't just say Neville.
Neville Hewitt. Neville Hewitt. Neville Hewitt. Don't know. I'll work on my Neville Hewitt pronunciations.
It is
right.
You say it different almost every time. Oh, what about Henry? What about Henry?
Oh, Henry Toto. He's up there.
Yeah,
he's up there.
Mario Master with the linebackers. Henry or Harris?
Not Harris. Not Harris.
Not Harris.
Not Harris. Not happening.
Not Harris. By the way, J.J. Watt will not be coming out of retirement to play for the Bengals. His goalie gave up a goal, so he's not coming out of retirement.
What are you saying?
He had a bet with the goalie for the soccer team he owns that if the guy didn't give him a goal rest of the year, he'd come out of retirement, play for the Bengals. Guy gave up a goal. So there you go.
Okay. So there we go. That's big news there. You just kind of said it like it was like known, but okay. Anyway.
Okay. Yeah. Sorry you don't follow along. It's okay.
Do we have any more guards to talk about?
Shut up. You're so dumb today. What'd you do different today that made you a dumbass?
Appreciate everyone for coming through. Subscribe, like, ride along. Always remember when it comes to this Texan stuff, we're all in it together.
You got anything else, Chappelle? Yeah, I didn't think so. Eat good, sleep good, be good. We'll talk Texans again soon. Thanks for watching, everybody.
Guards make Cody hard. Bye-bye.
Son of a bitch.